the 2024 election approaches, the political landscape is heating up, with one candidate making significant strides, Vice President Kamala Harris. Recent polling data has shown a surge in Harris's support across key battleground states, positioning her as a serious contender against former President Donald Trump. With polls from respected agencies like Morning Consult, New York Times, and The Economist consistently reflecting her upward trajectory, the narrative surrounding the election is rapidly shifting. What does this mean for Trump, who once appeared to have a stronghold in these crucial states? And what are the implications for voters and the overall electoral process? This video will dive deep into the latest polling data, the strategies behind the campaigns, the influence of early voting, and the broader impact of disinformation tactics, such as manipulated polling averages. At the heart of it all lies a pivotal question. Is Trump's path to victory narrowing as Kamala Harris gains momentum? Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We're on the road to reaching 5,000 subscribers, but we can't do it without you. So if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe right now. And if you're already subscribed, give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment to let me know your thoughts. All right, let's dive right into it. 1. Kamala Harris's rising numbers. A breakdown of polling data. As of mid-October 2024, Kamala Harris has shown significant gains in a variety of reputable polls. According to the latest from the TIP poll, Harris is leading Trump by a margin of 50% to 46%, while the Marist poll places her at 52% compared to Trump's 47%. Other prominent polls, such as the Morning Consult and the New York Times, have similarly reflected Harris, leading by margins of 3 to 4 points. This consistent upward movement isn't just a fluke or statistical anomaly. Instead, it represents a broader trend, one that's steadily shifted in Harris's favor over the past few weeks. Polls from top-rated organizations are generally conducted using tried-and-tested methodologies, and the fact that Harris has shown gains across various polls suggests that her support base is expanding, especially in key battleground states. What's significant is not just the national averages, but the swing states, where Harris's modest but stable leads are the most telling. In Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan, her support has been bolstered by demographic groups that Trump had previously courted successfully, including women, suburban voters, and younger generations. The patterns in polling show a growing inclination toward Harris, especially as independents and first-time voters lean her way. 2. Why the Harris surge is happening now. There are several reasons behind Kamala Harris's recent surge. Economic and social policies. Harris has consistently campaigned on issues that resonate with a broad spectrum of voters. Her focus on economic equality, health care reform, and student loan forgiveness has struck a chord with younger voters, a critical demographic in this election. Furthermore, her emphasis on women's rights and reproductive health has rallied women voters, especially after the Supreme Court's controversial rulings that rolled back abortion rights in many states. Trump fatigue. While Trump maintains a fiercely loyal base, many voters, particularly independents and moderate Republicans, are showing signs of Trump fatigue. Scandals, legal battles, and divisive rhetoric have left some former supporters disillusioned. For many, Harris represents a fresh start, a contrast to the chaos and polarization that defined much of Trump's tenure in the White House. Grassroots and financial advantage. Harris's campaign has a significant financial edge, allowing her team to outspend Trump's on ads, outreach, and get-out-the-vote efforts. Additionally, the grassroots energy around her campaign has been remarkable. Volunteers and activists are mobilizing at levels not seen since the Obama campaigns, driven by the belief that this election is pivotal for the future of democracy in the United States. Strategic early voting push. Harris's campaign has been strategic in encouraging early voting, particularly in swing states. Early voting data from places like Georgia and Michigan show a significant lead for Democrats. For instance, in Georgia, Democrats have outpaced Republicans in absentee ballot returns, a key metric that often indicates the enthusiasm and organizational strength of a campaign. 3. The impact of early voting on the 2024 election. Early voting has become a critical factor in the 2024 election, and it's shaping up to be a decisive advantage for Kamala Harris. Unlike in previous elections, where Republicans largely issued early voting this year, both parties have recognized its importance. However, Harris's campaign has been particularly effective at mobilizing early voters, and the data supports this. In Pennsylvania, for example, Democratic voters have returned 416,000 absentee ballots, compared to just 158,000 for Republicans. In key urban areas like Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, Harris has built a commanding lead. Similar trends are evident in other battleground states like Georgia and Michigan, where record early voting turnout suggests that Democratic enthusiasm is higher than expected. 4. Trump's response: navigating the polls and managing perceptions. Donald Trump, notorious for his ability to dominate the media narrative, has found himself in a more precarious position this election cycle. While he retains his core support, recent polling has shown that his post-debate performances and subsequent rallies have not yielded the expected bump in battleground states. Trump's response has been twofold: attacking the validity of the polls and leveraging disinformation campaigns to skew public perception. One tactic that Trump's campaign has employed is the release of partisan polls aimed at creating the illusion of momentum. By flooding the polling averages with Republican-leaning data, his campaign hopes to manufacture the appearance of a red wave. This strategy is not new. In 2022, Republicans engaged in similar efforts, pushing out numerous polls that skewed heavily in favor of GOP candidates, only for the actual election results to show a far more competitive landscape. The goal here is not only to influence voter sentiment, but also to create a narrative of victory should the results be contested later. 5. Betting markets and disinformation: the rise of polymarket. Another emerging trend in the 2024 election is the role of betting markets, particularly offshore ones like Polymarket, in shaping election narratives. Polymarket is a cryptocurrency-based betting market where participants, many of whom are not U.S. citizens, can place bets on the outcome of the U.S. elections. What's troubling about this is that these markets, driven by non-American actors, are being used by pro-Trump influencers and right-wing media personalities to promote the idea that Trump is the likely winner, despite polling data that suggests otherwise. As prominent political analyst Simon Rosenberg noted, this creates a dangerous cycle. Betting markets are portrayed as more accurate than traditional polling because they involve financial stakes, but in reality, they can be easily manipulated by wealthy foreign entities. This becomes a tool for disinformation, allowing Trump's campaign to claim widespread support even when the actual polling shows otherwise. Furthermore, the promotion of these markets by media figures only legitimizes their use, creating confusion and mistrust among voters. 6. The role of misinformation in the final weeks. As we inch closer to Election Day, misinformation is likely to play an even more significant role. The proliferation of manipulated polls, combined with the spread of conspiracy theories through social media, is aimed at suppressing Democratic turnout. The objective is clear: demoralize voters by making them believe that Harris's chances are slim, even though the data suggests the opposite. However, the Harris campaign is fighting back. By emphasizing transparency and relying on trusted pollsters, Harris's team has been able to maintain voter enthusiasm. The campaign's strong early voting push also mitigates the impact of Election Day misinformation, as many votes will have already been cast by the time disinformation campaigns reach their peak. 7. What's at stake? The future of American democracy. At the heart of this election lies a fundamental question about the future of American democracy. Both Harris and Trump represent starkly different visions for the country, and the outcome of this election will have far-reaching consequences for the political landscape. For Trump, this election is a chance to vindicate his claims of a stolen 2020 election, while for Harris, it is an opportunity to solidify her position as a leader who can unite a divided nation. As the polling data continues to evolve, one thing remains clear: the race is far from over. While Harris has shown a significant surge in key states, the final outcome will depend on voter turnout, the effectiveness of campaign strategies, and the role of misinformation in shaping public opinion. In these final weeks leading up to the election, Kamala Harris's surge in the polls, particularly in key battleground states, presents a significant challenge to Donald Trump's campaign. While Trump and his allies continue to push disinformation and partisan polls in an effort to skew public perception, the data from reputable sources paints a clear picture. Harris is gaining ground. With early voting already underway and the stakes higher than ever, the 2024 election is shaping up to be one of the most consequential in American history. As the battle intensifies, voters are left to decide which vision for America they believe in, and their decisions will define the future of the country for generations to come.